Afternoon, vinyl community. Harris here. Bonus midweek video. I thought I'd look at Brian Eno. I was thinking about Eno today, and probably is he the most important producer of the '70s? I don't know. Possibly. He's a slaphead, boffin, pop-loving genius who sort of resonates with me for some reason. I do love Brian Eno. Thought first up, probably the record he's best known for being involved. I always wondered, was Brian Eno actually part of Roxy Music, or did he? Or was he just in the studio at the time and he just sort of hung around for a bit until they noticed after the first two albums, and they kicked him out because he never seemed sort of part of the band really, but he certainly made the first two albums utter genius. And this is my favourite Roxy music. What's this one called? Is this For Your Pleasure? Yes, it is, For Your Pleasure, on a pink circled island, which I think gives it a bit more cachet. Fantastic album this, and contains Roxy's probably the greatest Roxy song ever, apart from maybe Mother of Pearl, which came out on the album after this, Stranded, where Eno by now had been sussed out and they'd told him not to turn up anymore. But this is absolutely fantastic and contains what I think is probably their best, which is In Every Dream Home a Heartache, which is the greatest takedown of 70s middle class British sex culture. Bald men. If I was to do a top 10 of songs about rubber sex dolls, that would certainly be my number one. I think then Dinosaur Jr. wrote one. I can't remember what it's called. Severed Lips would be number two, and I'd have to think about it next day. But fantastic record, and fantastic sleeves. And there's Brian there. I think he's obviously he's doing laundry this week, I think, because he looks like a bit of a geek there. But fantastic. My favourite Roxy album. Next up, probably his best known production job, Bowie's Low, and again, probably I'm not the biggest Bowie fan in the world. I've got to say, this is an absolute delight in it, and side one or side A is just pop masterclass. It really is sort of otherworldly. Not as keen as on side two actually, which is the instrumentals, and I can take or leave the instrumentals. Although I know a lot of people are phenomenally keen on that side, and a big influence on new wave and Joy Division. I think where Ian Curtis was a big fan, and I probably only like three Bowie albums, which is Low, Station to Station, and Hunky Dory. And I've got Hunky Dory here actually, and I know Brian Eno played no part in Hunky Dory, but I was looking at my copy. My copy's weird. It's just one. It's got the song Bombers on it, which I don't know. Have you ever heard the song Bombers? Which is absolutely fantastic. It just makes the album. I wish they'd shifted Feel Your Heart off this and replaced it with Bombers, and it would have probably been the perfect album. It's probably one of my favourite ever albums anyway, Hunky Dory. But yeah, no Brian Eno involvement, but I just happened to have it sitting around. Next up, Brian Eno production job, Devo. Are we not? What is this called? Are We Not Men? We Are Devo. Kind of good. I always think of Devo as like the America's equivalent of Dexy's Midnight Runners, i.e. popular in their homeland, don't necessarily translate fantastically. Although looking at Wikipedia, this got to number 12 in the British album charts and only got to about number 75 in America. But yeah, it's all right, isn't it, Devo? I can't really get my head around it completely, but Eno produced it. Brian Eno also had a huge influence on American sort of new wave and punks. I think he produce the No New York compilation, I think, which had a lot of sort of the no wave bands. So they liked him over there as well. But yeah, Are We Not Men? No, We Are Devo. Eno on production. Talking of Eno on production, Talking Heads' Fear of Music, my favourite Talking Heads album. Really nice. It's got that nice textured sleeve, and yeah, this is my favourite Talking Heads, I think. and I think he produced the next one as well, didn't he? Which I can't remember the name of, which I don't really like. But yeah, this has got Life During. Is it called Life During Wartime as well? And if you watch that Talking Heads concert video, Stop Making Sense, the clip of them doing Life During Wartime is pretty phenomenal, actually, and all the band are sort of doing step aerobics as the song goes on. Tina Weymouth is phenomenal. I don't know how she does it. She does sort of combines calisthenics with bass playing, and yeah, fantastic album. And again, Eno on the knobs, so to speak. Next up, I'm sort of cheating here a little bit, but I didn't want to leave this out. Robert Wyatt's Ruth is Stranger Than Richard. Robert Wyatt was the drumming and singing genius in Soft Machine and Matching Mole as well. Then he went on a bit of a wild party, fell out of a window and was confined to a wheelchair for the rest of his life, and started producing some of the best music around. Brian Eno plays on Ruth is Stranger Than Richard, which ain't a bad album. I think Eno plays a little bit of guitar on it, and it's not bad. I've picked it out, and I am cheating it because this is one of those sort of things they did in the 70s. This is one of those double LP packs with one of the great records of all time, Robert Wyatt's Rock Bottom. If you have, I don't know, like 20 years ago, it was quite exotic to own Robert Wyatt's Rock Bottom. Nowadays, with streaming and everyone and reissues, and it's quite a well-known record. Is it Rock Bottom by Robert Wyatt? I don't know. If it isn't, it should be. Eno doesn't play on it, but it's attached to the one he does play on. Rock Bottom is absolutely phenomenal. It sounds like Eno would have had a hand in it. It's sort of this sort of ambient, electronic, jazz. It's fantastic. And if you haven't heard it, YouTube will stream the actual song Rock Bottom. I think it's called Rock Bottom, is it? Hang on. No, Sea Song, sorry. The opening track, Sea Song, which is just incredible. Awesome song. Awesome album. I love Robert Wyatt. And yeah, but say Eno played guitar on Ruth is Stranger Than Richard, and had absolutely solid what to do with Rock Bottom. But they're both pretty decent. But Rock Bottom is probably one of the greatest albums of the 70s, probably one of the greatest albums of all time, to be honest. Getting on to Eno's solo stuff. Once he either left Roxy Music or they just carried on without him and no one realising. Before and After Science, brilliant album. If you haven't heard the song Backwater, I recommend again, get on and listen to Backwater. He kind of invents, this isn't necessarily a seal of approval I suppose, but he kind of invents new wave pop about 2 years before new wave pop happens with the song Backwater. Backwater is fantastic, but this is all fantastic. Side 2 becomes like this sort of ambient, electronic, epic side, which is just brilliant. I mean, this whole album's brilliant. All the Eno albums, solo albums, are fantastic in the 70s in my opinion, but this is one of the best. Then, Another Green World, Eno. A perfect example where everything that's wrong in the new vinyl industry. I wanted this album because my old copy was battered, didn't really play, and I bought the new copy, and for some reason they stuck it on 2 discs, which it didn't need to be on 2 discs. It only goes on for about 35 minutes anyway. It's one of these audiophile, plays at 45 mph, so you've got to get up and change it every 11 minutes, and as someone who smoked Lambert and Butler for 30 years, you really don't need the extra strain having to get up and back and up and back. And by side 3 I'm calling for the Gurkhas, to be honest, or considering taking sandwiches with me. It's a bit of strain, but yeah, decent album. I think most people know Another Green World. Not my absolute favourite. I prefer his poppier stuff, but yeah, great album. Just don't buy it in this version. It doesn't even sound that great, audiophile. Honestly, if you get a decent 70s copy, it's going to blow the doors off this, I'm telling you. Last one, and this is my favourite Eno solo album. Here Come the Warm Jets, which I think alludes to urinate on yourself, doesn't it, or something weird, I don't know. But this is just utterly fantastic. It's got Robert Fripp on it as well, and I'm no prog man, but I've got to say Robert Fripp is a bit special. And what does he play guitar on? Is it Baby's on Fire? Just sounds incredible. this is a superb album. Highly recommend it. I say I highly recommend all the Eno stuff up to about, well, pretty much all the Eno stuff ever, to be honest. But yeah, this is fantastic. Brian Eno, here come the Warm Jets. So thanks for watching. That was me, Brian Eno showcase, so to speak. And there'll be some more videos soon. Thanks a lot. Bye now.